What's the quickest way to lose weight, eat better, and eat all the right stuff without actually changing what you eat? Believe it or not, there's actually a way to do it, and it involves figuring out your eating type weakness, and then designing your day, what you eat and how you eat around what I call this eating type thing. So what do I really mean by eating type? Well, psychologists, people that have studied emotional and binge eating have basically classified people into a number of different eating types. Some people snack, some people binge eat, some people like to go out and eat a lot. The reality is that once you figure out what your eating type is day to day, you can usually figure out how to offset the weaknesses of that eating type. What's up, ladies and gents? This is Alex Hine over at modernhealthmonk.com. Welcome back to the 21-day Tiny Habit Nutritional Challenge. Today is habit number 3, master your eating type. You know, in high school, I used to have this friend who would just stuff food in his face. He was the stereotypical big kid, whatever. When we would go to lunch, he had the same amount of food as me because his mom would make him a sandwich just like my mom would. He'd have some crackers or a cookie and then a juice. But the difference was when he got to the table, he would just hammer it down in 60 seconds like he was some kind of animal, a rabid animal, just shoving food in his face. And I found it funny as a kid. But later on I realized many other people have different eating types, even though they're not as obvious as like this animal stuffing thing. Sometimes people snack and they're always picking. Sometimes they're extreme binge and emotional eaters. And some people just are too lazy to cook and they go out and eat a lot. The reality is that the way you eat, the style of your eating, regardless of what you eat, plays a big role in your health. So let's talk about how you can figure out what your eating type is and then quickly jump into the weaknesses, because today's habit is going to be a special way to eat to offset the eating type weakness. Eating type number 1, the bear. The bear is just like my friend. These are people that tend to eat irregular meals, 2 or 3 a day maximum, sometimes just 2 huge meals. And when they eat, they just stuff it in there. They tend to overeat, so when they're finished eating, they're full, they burp, they tend to get indigestion, they're usually like clearing their chest like this. That is what I call the bear. The second type is the snacker. Snackers almost never eat full meals. They may work at their computer desk, at work, or at school. They work and eat at the same time. They're always picking, but never really eating until they're full. The third type is what I call the binge eater. This is just your textbook emotional or binge eater. When anything stirs up in life, they go right to the pastry section or ice cream or whatever. This is like the stereotypical classic woman going through the breakup, eating ice cream, and then wanting to exercise it off the next day. The binge eater or the emotional eater is a stereotypical textbook emotional eater. And the fourth type is what I call the New Yorker. I have a lot of friends that live in New York because I live near New York City, and most of them don't cook, don't know how to cook, and have no interest in cooking. So they eat out 3 meals a day, which to me in the suburbs is absurd. I don't even know why or how you would afford that. But they eat out every meal a day. And in reality, it's very hard to control what you eat, the calories, and so on if you're eating out. So what are the weaknesses and how do you actually eat to improve the weaknesses of these certain eating types? Now, with the bear, the main weakness is that the gorging doesn't feel good. They eat too fast. They get indigestion after. So the solution is just to add 1 more regular meal. Because if you're eating more regularly, you're not going to be ravenously hungry and eat like a bear. With the snacker, the opposite's true. Snackers often have to force themselves to get away from the desk. This is your habit. Get away from the desks and actually eat a meal away from your work or away from school or away from the computer or TV. Sit down and have a bloody meal. The emotional eater, the binge eater, the solution here, the weakness, is actually obviously the emotions. So how do you get over this? You have to learn your triggers. And there's a way we're going to talk about this called the index card exercise. We may talk about it in one of the habits. But basically for a week, carry around an index card or your phone. And anytime you have an episode, track what causes that. After a week, you'll have a really good idea of what's triggering these episodes. And the New Yorker is really just a matter of habit. You've got to force yourself one day just to cook 1 meal. It could be as easy as breakfast, which could be oatmeal or eggs. Anyone can make them. Train yourself to make 1 meal during the week. So your tiny habit for today is habit number 3 in the 21-day Tiny Habit Challenge. Write down, tell me below which eating type you are. Pick one of these strategies to help offset your eating type weakness, And then again, tell me below there. Now, if you like this stuff, make sure you go on over to modernhealthmonk.com. Make sure you download that free guide, 5 daily habits to help you lose your next 10 pounds. And if you love this kind of tiny daily habits approach to losing weight and feeling awesome, go check out my book, Master the Day, on Amazon.com. If you get the book and send me a receipt, I'll send you a $100 2-hour video course for free. Just send me a receipt showing me you bought it. Make sure you click the monk dude to subscribe, because obviously this is only day number 3, habit number 3 of the 21-day tiny habit challenge. And that is what I want you to do for now. Stay tuned for number 4, and I'll catch you in the next video.